Hey, it's TJ, and today we're doing a first impression of Avowed. Now, the basic gist of how I feel about this, just for those who don't want to sit through all of it, is there's fun to be had. It can be fun. It's obviously, as well, if you continue watching, you'll see that it's a bit of a mess, but it's a functioning mess, and there is some fun in here. For those that don't want to pay for it, it is available on Game Pass for now. But it could be fun, and one of the major aspects that's a bit of a mess is the third person view that I turned on. And it's pretty janky. I believe we were warned to expect janky, and it's not the old school janky we're used to from Obsidian. It's worse. It's a bit worse. Less jank and more messy. And aim assist, especially for a third person view, you might want to turn that on, at least until they make it a little more, user friendly. This here is simply because I paid to play early, which was kind of foolish looking back. Yeah, I definitely learned to regret that aim assist being turned off. But like most people, I will run through the settings, like pretty much everybody else. Each tab, though, you have to apply the settings before you change the tab, or they probably won't stick. I'm sure there's a message that will show up telling you, "Are you sure?" But I didn't bother with that. Now, when you start a new game, you will get an introductory cutscene telling you, about the world you're jumping into. Which I won't talk through any of that. It's kind of nice, to be honest.
Eora, a world where mortals live, die, and are reborn through the turning of the wheel, in a cycle of reincarnation, watched over by the gods. Our gods, some of whom love us more than others. Your home, the Adiran Empire, is treasured by Wodica, Our Lady of Law and Vengeance, the burned queen. But our goddess has lately turned her eyes from us, and our empire has suffered revolts, famines, challenges to rightful rule. We lack a common purpose, but we could find it in the living lands, a rich and lawless island settled by fugitives, wanderers, exiles, and us. Yet the more we free this place from danger, the more the land fights back. And now, as our colonists crowd into Paradise, the last safe city, the locals find themselves crowded out. Many years ago, you were born to a family in our Adiran Empire, and in a rare turn of the wheel, you came into this world a godlike, touched by a patron god in the womb. To some, a blessing. To many, an abomination. You grew up an outsider, but I saw potential in you. Potential and an opportunity. And within my court, you found purpose. Now I call upon your vow to our empire and name you my envoy. Venture forth in the name of your homeland and secure our future.
You know, when you're done creating your character, you get to pick from one of 5 backgrounds. Adds a little bit, to the story of your character, but it also gives you opportunities to impact how you approach conversations. I've only played a couple hours into the game. I could say up to 3 hours, but I spent a while in the character creator. In addition to your background, you're also given the ability to allocate your attributes, which also have the chance of not only impacting your combat abilities and survivability, but also conversation. Which example of, for both of those, show up as soon as you land on Tutorial Island. And there is a literal tutorial island. It'll walk you through everything. Well, everything you need to know to get started. There are some things you will figure out later after certain events take place. Now this here, if you look down towards the middle, you'll see that you have the identifier. That's the pronoun section. You have the options of he, she, and they. You also have the ability to hide the identifier when it comes to your character sheet. Basically a set it and forget it option for those who care about that. As well as the option to display, godlike facial features and hair features, which may or may not be something you want depending on how you want to see your character. Some of the features that you can pick from are hard to miss.
Take that dagger. It's no good to
But here's an example of third person. It's personally, I think it needs a little bit of work. That, or it's very much an acquired taste. But here's an example of your inventory as well. It's not as messy as it could have been, to be honest with you. It's going to take a little getting used to, but it's manageable.
We've got to make sure our troops are safe.
The third person definitely needs work. It handles awkwardly, almost kind of like a MMO, almost like ESO in a way. You just, maybe even like a jankier form of ESO in terms of third person perspective. You've probably seen a little bit, but third person needs work more than just mechanically, as you can tell with the hair especially. It almost looks like the hair is just glued or stapled to the top of your character's head. And it's very noticeable once you've seen it. It's hard to unsee it. Yeah, there it is again. very easy to notice there. Now combat, third-person combat is very, very janky. The aim assist would have came in handy here. Now here's an example of first person. Much better in terms of just about everything. You feel more in control. Targeting an enemy without aim assist actually works. Now, enemies that have shields, they have, I'm hoping it's an issue, I hope it's not a feature, but if they're blocking at all, it doesn't matter which direction you're attacking from, you will be dealing reduced damage. Which, I hope that gets fixed, because it's very annoying. Of course, you can break their guard with power attacks, but that costs a lot of stamina. And, well, it seems like fire doesn't burn, unless it's thrown at you. Nope, definitely doesn't burn. Not exactly a problem, per se, but, I mean, you gotta test it.
Boys like trust is going to get them killed.
Now, there is areas where there are enemies that are far stronger than you have any business dealing with, usually indicated by skulls next to their health bar. And this game will punish you for making that mistake very quickly. Additionally, things like status effects, like being frozen, can be made to end quickly if you were to throw fire at them. Oh, and escaping is a pain. They have a tendency to throw rocks, which is rude. But another example of their jankiness is I'm being attacked by an enemy that's chasing me while also not facing me, which is amusing and, I mean, just another example of how messy this game can be. But if you can get around the jank and the messy mechanics of especially third person, there is a fun experience to be had. You know, if you got Game Pass, it's currently on there. That way, you know, if you do end up regretting playing this, you know, you didn't lose any money. But yeah, that's about it. It's could be fun, could be worse, but could certainly be better. So that's all I've got for this. I'm gonna hop off here and see if I can't find an exploit where I can duplicate upgrade materials, because why not? If you enjoyed this or got anything out of this, you know, like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. If you have any constructive criticism, I would appreciate that too. So, until the next video, toodles.